Unforgettable stories out of Western Jamaica from the scrapbooks of Adrian Freighter. Over the years, St. James has produced some of the nation's most feared gangsters, men considered to be so dangerous that they cause ordinary policemen to tremble in their boots and law-abiding citizens to flee their communities out of fear. One such gangster was the late Miguel Jarrett, the much feared leader of the Flower Gang, whose notoriety caught so much public attention that in 1995 the St. James Police named him the parish's most wanted man. During the peak of his reign, Jarrett was not afraid to challenge the police to a gunfight, and in fact, 3 policemen who challenged him on different occasions were left nursing bullet wounds. However, as is customary with gangsters, Jarrett's luck never lasted very long, and in his last confrontation with police in the early morning of October 6, 1995, he found himself on the wrong side of a Uzi submachine gun which was being brandished by legendary crime fighter Clive Karate Georgie Lawrence and met his demise. In this edition of Lest You Forget, we will be revisiting that story which was big news across Western Jamaica from a story I co-wrote for the Star with my former media colleague Ivan Hines. It will be bolstered by the personal recollection of one of the police officers who was a part of that deadly operation. The story, which was published in the Star on October 7, 1995, under the headline, "Another Bites the Dust, Most Wanted Man Killed in Shootout," read in parts as follows. The Reign of Terror by St. James's Most Wanted Man, 31-year-old ex-convict Miguel Jarrett, came to an abrupt end yesterday when the elusive gangster was shot dead during a shootout with members of the Montego Bay Flying Squad in the Flower Hill area of the parish. According to police reports, shortly after 4 a.m., a team of policemen, acting on information, went to a hut in the Flower Hill area where Jarrett, the leader of the much-feared Flower Hill Gang, was believed to be in hiding. On approaching the hut, the lawmen were reportedly fired on by Jarrett, who was apparently aware of their presence in the area. During a sustained exchange of gunfire, Jarrett, who had survived 4 previous confrontations with the police, was shot dead. A 9mm Beretta pistol with 2 live rounds was taken from his body. He was taken to the Cornwall Regional Hospital, where he was pronounced dead. The police said the firearm with the serial number 57340 was stolen from the home of Custas of Trelawney, Royal and Barrett on June 29 this year. Jarrett, who became St. James's most wanted man after police killed a much feared Ika Dread Panton in a shootout in Flanker, first came to prominence in October 1994, shortly after escaping from the remand center in Kingston. He was awaiting trial for the double murder of a Chinese couple killed during a robbery in the Coral Garden area of Montego Bay. During his reign as a leader of the notorious Flower Gang, Jarrett had been implicated in the wounding of at least 3 policemen during shootouts. Among his victims was Constable Garnet Mighty, who recently returned to the island from Miami, where he had received treatment after being shot in the face during a shootout with Jarrett. In recounting the final confrontation with Miguel Jarrett, according to a police officer who was a part of the operation, when they found the hut in which Jarrett was hiding, some members of the team were hesitant to approach the hut in the dark because they felt that Jarrett would not hesitate to fire on them. However, others, including Karate Georgie, felt that to wait until daybreak would rob them of the element of surprise. He said Lawrence volunteered to get close to the hut, while the others would stay at a distance and shout to Jarrett to surrender. He said that when Lawrence, who was crawling on his stomach, got within 10 yards of the hut, a member of the team shouted out, "Police, come out with your hands in the air." He said a few moments passed and then they heard gunfire coming from the hut. He said under the dim moonlight they saw Jarrett running out of the hut, still firing. It was then that Karate Georgie took him on. The lawman said that when the shooting subsided, Some of them were of the belief that Jarrett had escaped, as the semi-darkness had prevented them from getting a clear view of what was taking place. However, when the day lighted out properly, they saw the body of Jarrett on the ground a short distance away from the hut, still clutching his gun in death. The news of Jarrett's death sparked wild celebration in several communities in St. James, where the residents feared him greatly. In looking back at the reign and demise of Miguel Jarrett, it was definitely one of those unforgettable stories out of Western Jamaica. Unforgettable stories out of Western Jamaica from the scrapbooks of Adrian Freitas.